you sweet, beautiful lover. I'm Tab Elliott here. I just wanted to make a quick little video for you and Mama Obama, my friend, lovely friend, who's a lover, who's a friend, who's a lover, has asked me a question about raw foods. And she sent me a video by Fully Raw Christina showing her meal plan for a day and what's a possible way you could eat 100% raw. And this is an 80-10-10 diet. And asked me, she says, well, it kind of aligns, and it seems to align. I just wanted to get some more insight. And so I'd like to offer some insight. And first of all, I think Fully Raw Christina is awesome. Super positive. She's helping a lot of people. But I do want to talk about the practicality about doing raw in Canada. That's where we live. That's where Mama Obama lives. That's where I live. And Mama Obama's her cute little name for her because she's a mama and she's the Obama. And so we both live in Canada. And I think that it's challenging to do 100% raw 100% of the time in Canada. And the reason why is because it's so cold here, man. It's really cold. And it seems to be that most of the raw food leaders, so-called leaders, people that are in high visibility situations on YouTube, like Fully Raw Christina, like Dan McDonald, like Durian Ryder, like Freely, like OK Raw, whatever his name is, it seems that these people are usually and practically always in tropical environments. So it seems that they're living, Freely and Durian Ryder, they live in Australia, and it's quite reasonable all year round. Doesn't get crazy cold in the wintertime. Not like here where it gets to like minus 20, minus 15, minus 10, minus 5. Dan McDonald, I'm not sure exactly where he lives. I know he's usually in warm climates. He's always in his hot springs. I've never seen him in a wintertime video. Fully Raw Christina, in all her videos, she seems to be in tropical environments, and OK Raw is always in tropical environments. Ka Sundance is always in tropical environments, and even he doesn't recommend 100% raw food diet. So, I think it's a good thing to do to have a high raw diet, and Kevin Gianni has a great ebook which I'm going to include below, a link. So download that. It's a free resource. Kevin Gianni is really great. His website is renegadehealth.com. He is selling stuff, but his information is pretty good, and he interviews a lot of people. So he's a good resource. I'm not saying he's the best resource, but he's a good resource, and he's balanced. And he is one of the only people that is talking about raw cacao and the dangers of raw cacao, as well as Durian Ryder and Dr. Oren, Dr. T3, some really educated people on raw cacao. Also, Paul Neeson is talking about raw cacao and the dangers of that. And in fact, I don't know the name of the guy, but the guy who brought apparently raw cacao into the raw food movement is also saying that you shouldn't eat raw cacao, and it should be a treat once in a blue moon. And he's talking like maybe a couple of times a year, and don't overdo it because it's a drug and it's gonna burn out your adrenals, and it's a party drug, and it's like crack. So go easy. You wouldn't take crack all the time. Hopefully you wouldn't get drunk all the time. I don't think you should take crack ever. I don't think you should get drunk ever. But raw cacao's dangerous, man. Look up dangers of raw cacao. Google side effects of raw cacao, negative side effects of raw cacao, and you'll find out there's a ton of issues with it. And it can really burn out your adrenals and really wire you up. And so I'll put some articles on that also below. So can raw foods work in Canada? I don't know. I don't think so. I've tried it 3 times, 100%, and I've done it wrong 2 times. I tried doing 80-10-10 this last time, and it didn't work for me. I'll tell you how I failed the first 2 times. The first time I wasn't getting enough calories. I was eating 100% raw, and I just wasn't getting enough calories. I was eating tons of salads. I was feeling great, actually. I was feeling amazing. But I just was losing too much weight, and I'm thin already, so I just couldn't afford to do it, so I had to stop. And the second time, I was eating way too much fat. I was eating, actually, tahini is not raw, apparently, so I was eating a lot of tahini, a lot of coconut meat, and I got sick because of the fat. And what happens if you eat too much fat, your cells get surrounded by fat, coated by fat, and then the nutrients can't get in and the toxins can't get out. So that's how I failed the first 2 times. And this last time I really tried the 80-10-10. And I didn't do it 100% raw. I was eating some potatoes too, but a lot of bananas, a lot of dates. And I crashed really bad. And so I do have some adrenal issues. And so if you don't have adrenal issues, 80-10-10 might work for you. I can't say it won't. But if you're going to do 80-10-10 or try it, I think you really should do a mineral supplement also in the form of a greens powder. And I would probably, you should definitely, one of your meals should be a big salad. But I don't recommend 100% raw. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's an experiment. In the tropical environment, maybe. If we all had grown up on it, maybe. For myself, it's just not working for me at this time. I need to build up my adrenals first, and I might try it in the future. We'll see. But I like the idea of high raw. And now I want to talk a little bit about the psychology of raw foods and why we might be drawn towards it. Because there is this false self that we believe in. We believe that this is me. We believe that I have a soul. We believe that there's the soul that's evolving. You know, there's a lot of beliefs. I'm not saying you do, but a lot of people have these beliefs. We have these dogmatic religious beliefs that have been embedded in our minds because anything you hear, you take on as your own, even if you don't consciously believe it. And so we've heard a lot of religious people talk about hell and about death, and we all have this unconscious fear of death. And so raw foods can actually serve to ostensibly give us a ticket to immortality. And so I would say that it's impossible, and this is not my opinion, but it's impossible for this body to live forever. And raw foods it distracts us from the fact that we're going to have to face our mortality at some point or another. And it can become a pseudo-spiritual path because it does raise your bodily vibration and it connects you with some intuition, but it doesn't create enlightenment. To my knowledge, nobody has become enlightened on raw foods. Enlightenment occurs when we can finally end all of our suffering and see things as they are. And the way we do that is through mindfulness and meditation. I don't believe anybody is going to become enlightened ever on raw foods. I don't believe that some ascension is going to happen and then we're going to become enlightened and so we don't have to do anything. And we just have to wait for the energy of the Milky Way to come through and enlighten us and make us into 5-dimensional beings. Enlightenment is our own work. Salvation is our own work. That's why religions say that you need a savior. The teachings of the Buddha are all so that you can discover your own mind and look within. They're all pointers to, and it's a real path to follow so that we can look within and really see the functioning of the mind. And all the teachings are sort of expounded teachings of how the mind actually works and what defilements are getting in the way of seeing things as they actually are and what's creating suffering. So raw foods can't do that for us. It can make our bodies more healthy and make this time traveling journey more enjoyable. And I think it's a good thing that we can add into our life. But the thing I notice is when people get into raw foods, it becomes an obsession. It becomes your whole life. And I don't know that you could actually do 80-10-10 without it consuming your life, because they say it's no preparation, but you certainly have to go shopping a lot for food, and you have to store a lot of food. So, and there is some preparation, to make a massive salad like that every day, like in Fully Raw Christina's video. And I'm going to link her video below. I think Fully Raw Christina kicks ass. I think all these raw food leaders are great, and they're really showing us other ways of living. But like Matt Monarch, who's in La La Land, some people are just a little wacky, and I think Matt Monarch's probably a bit of a ganja smoker. I mean, you look at his videos, he's like, raw foods, and you should buy deer antler and extract and placenta and cow colostrum, and they're really like raw foods, and I'm really ascending. He just seems wacky. Maybe he's a very nice guy, but he comes across as really flaky, and he's 100% raw, supposedly. And when I went 100% raw, I was a little bit flighty. I was a little bit ungrounded, and I might try to get in the future if I can get my adrenals functioning properly. I'm going for a blood test today to get some baseline blood work done to see where I'm at. But I think in Canada it's really hard to do because it gets cold here, and I think you need a little bit of insulation, which I don't have any, but I'm working on that. And I really think another thing that you should look into is your dosha type. And if you're Vata and Mama Bama, I think you might be. So I think you should do a dosha test. And if you're Vata, 100% raw, I really don't think is going to work, because the Vata type is a cold type, and you need warmness. And you cannot get that from a raw food diet. It's impossible. Raw foods are completely cooling, virtually 100% cooling, really healing, and I think can really help detoxify the body. But we also need to sustain. We also need some materials, some mass, and some fortitude for our body. And I think cooked foods can really serve that purpose. I think quinoa and millet and rice and potatoes are really good for giving us some real earthy sustenance, especially in the north. And I'll never eat animal products again. I don't think you need protein from animals. You need amino acids from fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. I don't think a high fat diet is good, but in the end, you really have to try this out yourself and see if it works. And but don't neglect the signs of health problems. If you start having low energy, don't think it's because there's some external force that's influencing you, or it's energetic vampires or whatever. We have to be fully responsible for our state, and I think meditation and mindfulness are the keys to that. And I think the Eightfold Path and the teachings of the Buddha are a really great way to learn about ourselves and practice. And I think raw foods are a really great way to heal the body. Yet I don't think 100% raw is possible in Canada successfully. I think we become overly thin, and a lot of these women, including Fully Raw Christina and Leia, are getting really thin. Really, really thin. And I don't think it's healthy. I'm sorry to say, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I don't think it's healthy. I think Freely's a little too thin. She actually doesn't seem as thin as Leia has been, and Fully Raw Christina is really thin. So I think we should really be careful and do what's best for you and research. And I love you, and I hope everything works for you. Make a response. Let me know what you think. Peace. Love you.